Hi everyone, this is Bank Holiday Monday. The sun's shining, beautiful day, and there's so many flowers out that I thought I would do a tour of the greenhouses and the garden, etc., of what is out and what has happened. As I say, it's a beautiful day, and we've got a few flowers. We'll start off with this nice little conophytum. This will be really just showing you the blooms with the names. I'm not going into too many details. We'll be here all night if I was to do that. Anyway, I've mentioned true cacti with leaves. These are a few of my Prescias. They're not in bloom. Well, these ones are not in bloom, but the one in the garden possibly is. Excuse the mess. I'm not the world's most tidiest of people. There's another little cono in bloom. It's nice to be able to show these in bloom. These are some lithops that I've shown before that I'm hoping to root. The pan over the back you've seen before. My Succulents. They're hopefully we'll be making some seed. I've tickled them up and keeping my fingers crossed that they might have got pollinated. Now we're looking at flowers, aren't we? So let's not go astray. More flowers on Succulents. Some baby Succulents. More flowers on another species of conophytum. I know these are not looking too tidy. They are in the stage where they're going to have to be broken up and get going again. So please excuse me if they look a bit untidy, which I would agree. I'm trying to point in the right direction. As I say, it is a very bright day, and it's nice to be able to show you these. Now there's a few baby's toes, Fenestrarias. The yellow ones, which I pick a fairly deep yellow one, there's one there yellow, is Fenestraria aurantiaco. The white ones are Fenestraria rhopalophylla. These are window plants, as the name suggests. Fenestraria means a window plant, and I particularly like these. I find them easy to grow, but some people have difficulties with them. These are all separate plants, and they're all going to have to be depotted and put in single pots or into a new tray. And see, these are desperate to have a bit of space. Now coming across, I could take a picture of that with one in bud. Lapidaria margaretae. They've perked up a bit now with two odd agyrodermas. There was some space in the tray, so I popped them in. Let's see what's further on. Nothing in bloom. No, nothing in bloom. The plant in front of us I had to bring in, it's a Brugmansia. Didn't do very good outside, but I noticed the leaves now are coming through. So with a bit of luck That might make a nice plant. What else have we got in here? Oh yeah, I must show you what I got at the boot sale yesterday, or one of the items I got apart from that multimeter is a pressure sprayer. This was in filthy condition, but it was cleaned up. It was intended as a sprayer to spray brown fence preservative on. Well, I've cleaned it up. It's got a nice little indicator and a pressure gauge, probably on the Borden principle. That's where you have a curved metal well, it's not evacuated tube, and as the pressure builds up, the tube wants to straighten out, and as it straightens out, there's linkages to the pointer. Borden principle. He was a Frenchman who also devised a Borden barometer, which I'm lucky enough to have an example of. I don't know whether I put it up. It's definitely on Flickr. If it's not on YouTube, I'll have to remedy that. Anyhow, it's a nice little sprayer. They're always handy. You see there's another one there. That too also came from a boot sale. I buy probably 90% of my stuff from boot sales. I object strongly to have to pay fantastic prices for stuff, and these were quite cheap, a few quid we're talking about. Also a nice old watering can. Now that didn't come from a boot sale. I brought that back, and don't laugh, all the way from southern Germany. It's where they have the beer fest, although I wasn't there for the beer. It's a nice continental watering can, heavy gauge, well galvanised, and it's got a nice rose on it, and that is a real beauty, unlike the other rubbish you buy today. Anyhow, I'm going to leave this greenhouse and see what's next on the agenda. My canna has actually finished blooming. It's had loads of blooms on it. It's now finished, and it'll go slowly down into rest. Excuse the mess. Opuntia compressor. They've come on a treat, they really have. And there's been some blooms. Sorry I'm not showing them in bloom at the moment, but I'm taking that as an excuse to perhaps show the plants. These were offered by the ISI, the International Succulent Institute of California, many years ago, and I propagate it and plant it around the garden or in interesting places. Don't look too closely at this poor epiphyllum hybrids. They are not doing too well. Anyway, I mentioned Pereskia. There's the Pereskia outdoors. It's outdoors for the summer months. And I apologise for the fact that it's not in full bloom, but I can show a bud. That's Pereskia. The large leaves plants at the back are the true castor oil plants. These are deadly poisonous, so handle with great care. And I look down and see another tray of Opuntia compressor. They're waiting to be put into the garden somewhere where they will survive a winter. More leaves of different varieties of castor oil plants. These have done well this year, and yes, they have been in bloom. see what they actually do, the fruits. But as I say, they are deadly poisonous, so treat with great care. The flowers on there. Castor oil, not to be confused with the false castor oil, which is commonly seen growing over here. Look at the colour of those leaves. Hopefully I've got to get them through the winter, so they'll have to be put into one of the greenhouses and kept frost free. Ricinus is the botanical name. They do contain a nasty poison, so can't stress the fact that if you've got one of these, treat with great care. Fair enough, many of our plants are poisonous. Walking down, I'm specifically after stuff that's in bloom. Seeing passing my Opuntias, the pond which needs some work done on it. The plant that is pushing up from the pond is Spatterdock. It's a species of water lily, Spatterdock. That's going to need sorting out later in the year. More Opuntias. Alright, these have bloomed, showing the fruits. Please excuse the mess. I've got some weeding to do, but I can't do it all. Well, not all at once. Now we come to an aquatic plant. This is not in bud. This is Ludwigia, named after a German botanist, Ludwig. This is a fairly hardy plant. It's in water, but it's a bog plant, so it prefers to have its roots in dampness and the leaves on top. I did put one of these into the big pond and it just died, so it's, you know, it can be a bit temperamental, but they're Ludwigia. It's got a reddish underleaf as well, so it's quite a good plant to use in ponds. Now let's pop into the Mesem house. We have got some blooms in here. There's a Pelospelus in bloom. I don't know which one this is. It might be Magni punctatus. Or it might even be a hybrid. But nevertheless, it's in full bloom and doing well. Coming down, we got Glotophyllum oligocarpum. Glotophyllum means tongue, and these are tongue plants. Glotophyllums. Another one there, but not in bloom. Another oligocarpum in bloom. It looks like there's several out. There's another species there in bloom, and one over the back, and another one. All species of glottis. And on this table, another glotty, and another. Let me glance up at the testudinaria. This is the one that's started to grow, and it's doing fairly well. I was hoping to see more stems, but it's produced one, which is better than none, so yeah, it's not doing too bad. Another Pleistopilus in, but they haven't opened up completely. They will do when later in the day. Fucaria, that hasn't completely opened. Another Pleistopilus. While here, I'm going to show you 3 plants. These are in this house, which I'd have preferred to put in the other house with my mitrophyllums. These are an allied group of plants. You look careful. These are in the same stage. They're being watered now, and the two compressed bodies will open up and the plant becomes active. This is Maeurophytum mayeri. Both names commemorate the same gentleman, Pastor G. Mayer of Steinkop. It's unusual to have the two Latin names of a plant commemorating the same person, but here we have an example of it. Maeurophytum mayeri for Pastor G. Mayer of Steinkop. Here we have a Chirodopsis not showing you a flower, but the remains, showing capsules. I could go into this, the capsules, how they work. Basically, they need water on them to open up and let some seeds go. When it's dry, they close up again till the next time. Anyhow, that's all in bloom in this house. Let's go further. Please excuse the mess. While we're here, let's have a little look at the temperature. It's pretty warm. This is my skeleton thermometer, and it is showing, I think it's showing up alright. You can't see it, it's in fact showing 26, and that's in the shade, which is the correct way of taking the temperature. You'll probably see my ugly mug there as well in the reflection. One of these days I might do what they call a vlog. Don't know what I'm going to be talking on. Lots of things I could talk about. Anyhow, a quick view of the Apuntia house. Nothing out at the moment. They have been bloomed, but not at the moment. Going into the big greenhouse, which you've seen many times. There's not that amount of flowers out at the moment, so it'll be just a quick tour. There's one of those out again. You've seen this one. Some of the Cordiciforms are quite nice. They're tricky plants to establish and not that easy. I think you've seen these ones. The one we're looking at now, I'm going to have to make up some of my special stuff that kills the bugs. I've ordered the mess, and I'm going to have to buy myself some strong baccy to mix up, to get the nicotine out, to mix with the mess, so that I can paint it onto the bugs and get rid of them. As I said before, most of the stuff you buy now is completely useless. It just doesn't work, and I suggested it being flushed down the toilet. It's probably the best place for it. Anyhow, just a few more plants, and I'm gonna, well, I might have a look at Jean's plants. You got any bloom then? This is one of the Lophophorus, pink form. There's several species of these, but it's not too clear what ones are what. There's a Lithops in bloom. Some more Conos. That one I think's a Gibeum, but that one's a Cono. Was known as ophthalmophyllum in the old days. Some more baby's toes, fenestrarias. Can't get away from those, they're everywhere. What have we got on top? There's another gibbonium. More baby's toes. I'm hoping these ones I'm pointing at now might be the variety called Firecracker. It's a hybrid, but it has orange flowers. Quite nice. In fact, there's a bud on that one, so I wait and see what happens. I'm hoping that's going to be Firecracker. These are my other mitrophyllums, taking a bit longer than I had anticipated to fill up and split the two halves of the leaves. The monolarias have come through okay. That's a monolaria. The name means string of beads, or pearls rather. Monolaria, string of pearls. And that one's doing well. But the mitros, or conophyllums, have still to really get on and fill up and grow. This is my Philobolus. That is more advanced than it was last time I showed you. It's coming through nicely. It's a very dangerous time because you don't know just how much water to give them. Give them too much and it ends up as a rotten mess. But just do it right, they'll come through and produce the leaves and hopefully a flower. My other one's at the back there, which is not quite as advanced. These two plants came from a nursery in Switzerland owned by Mr. Uhlig. I think it was Uhlig. My memory's not that good of these days. No, it wasn't Uhlig. He's in Germany. Sorry, it'll come to me. Please excuse the fact that my memory is not as good as it used to be. Ubelman, is that the name? Ubelman. It may be Ubelman. Someone will correct me. Mind you, it was a long time ago. Anyhow, my watch has just started making a funny noise. So I think I'll end here. And hope you've all enjoyed. You know what to do. Comments. Please subscribe. And oh no, I tell an apology. I haven't finished yet. Looking at greenhouse, I just noticed having a look at Jean's plants. They're the plants I'm looking after for Jean. She hasn't got a greenhouse at the moment. So let's see how these are doing. I'll give them these a bit of a drink today. Those two echiverias are doing well. In front of that is Alloplicatulus. That was one she got from the Cactus Mart last week. That's Euphorbia Susani, also came from the same place. A grafted plant of Euphorbia columnaris, that's grafted. I think I have showed you a lot of these, but they've obviously come on a bit. Tormea papriacantha, that's grafted, but it's doing very well. Another grafted plant there looks like Aztecium ritteri. And yes, we've got blooms on Obrogonia denegrii. There's a Kinocerius, yeah, Kinocerius. The Americans call these rainbow cactus because of the colours that can be produced. Jean tends to like the Echeverias. They're alright. They were one of the first plants I had when I started. I must have been about 7 or 8 at the time. Long time ago. I do like Lowii, which is similar to that one there. I think that one's a cross with Lowii. Lowii is white, or almost white. These are Echeveria cante, which I think was quite a new found species. Aeonium, I think that's Aeonium purpurea, I'm not sure, I think that's what it is. And we've got some flowers there. These are hybrid aloes. Another flower there. It looks like an echinopsis, but it's certainly not an echinopsis type flower. We've missed a lot of them, that the flowers have been and gone. But not to worry. Seeing that transformer in front of me reminds me in a few months' time it's going to be winter. Very, very sad. This is the time to check all your equipment, heaters, thermostats, get them ready for winter so you know they're working. With those working, and your gas heaters if you've got them. I remember the old-fashioned Shilton heater. I don't know whether they're still going. I know a lot of the firms that made greenhouse heatings are no longer going. But nevertheless, you can get heaters and that. Best place to buy greenhouse heaters is a good old boot sale. A lot of mine came from boot sales, but do check them over, make sure they're working okay. Anyhow, I honestly say we have finished the tour. Hope you've enjoyed, and thanks for watching. You know what to do. Any comments, good or bad, it's all publicity. And please subscribe. I've got to bring my numbers up somehow. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Many thanks.